Elden Ring Tarnished Edition has done the impossible on the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't think anybody could have predicted when we first saw that gameplay footage back in 2025 that this would be the best rated Nintendo Switch 2 AAA third-party game on the platform. I don't think anybody thought that. And even with the delay, I think people still didn't think that because people were thinking, okay, it's Switch 2. Obviously, they're going to have to pare back the graphics and the frame rate. How's it going to be? Somewhere between the PS4 and the PS5. The PS5 version is still kind of sketchy at times. How is it going to play? How is it going to look? How are they going to fit that massive game all onto an 11-watt hybrid system? And lo and behold, they were able to do it. And not only did they do it, but they did it to such a great degree that reviewers, especially in this age, gave it a 91. Metacritic must play so far. There's around 38 to 40 reviews. More reviews are coming in, so it could go up or it could go down based off of that. Now, if you compare that to Elden Ring on other platforms, it is lower. Elden Ring did score higher on the PlayStation 5. It looks like it scored around a 96 or so. So it's about 5 points lower right now. But considering the parebacks that they had to do to get it to run on the Switch 2, and based off of just everything that goes into it, the game is now 4 years old at this point. To get a 91 is incredible. And there's actually a bunch of other things when it comes to first that it broke that we've got to talk about. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. Okay, so like I stated, Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, 91 Metacritic must play rating. I did not expect that at all. I think people are kind of shocked on how good it plays based off of the reviews. Then I will go over some of the reviews, but I wanted to get into exactly like the historical facts based off of this so far, because Elden Ring Tarnished Edition has done something that I think it's going to be tough for any other AAA third-party game to do on the platform for the rest of the generation. But let's first just talk about the reviews so far. Just give you guys an idea from like the high range to the low range. It's pretty much all positive though. There hasn't been a single review right now at this point that's been below an 8 out of 10. Everything's been pretty good. Once again, 38 to 40 plus reviews, all positive, all green so far. So I wanted to go over just a few of those. We're going to first start off with some 10 out of 10s. So Creative Blog, Tech Radar Gaming, PC Games, Eurogamer Portugal, and Eurogamer Germany all gave it a 10 out of 10. And Tech Radar Gaming says, a near perfect port from Software's masterpiece, Elden Ring, sings on Switch 2. Minimal pop-in and occasionally stuttery enemy animations are easily overlooked when performance is otherwise so slick in handheld mode. If you want to play Elden Ring on the go, this is simply the best way to do it. Okay, let's get into some of the 9 out of 10 scores. So what's it like? Universo Nintendo, shout outs to Universo Nintendo. I'll read what they have to say on there. Shout out to Necro Felipe. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition arrives on Nintendo Switch 2 as a surprisingly accomplished adaptation of one of the most remarkable games of recent years. Despite the hardware's natural limitations, it preserves the game's scale, atmosphere, and sense of exploration remarkably well, with consistent performance and visuals that are particularly impressive in handheld mode. With Shadow of the Erdtree included, this is the complete and compelling version for anyone who wants to explore the lands between away from the TV. So we give it a 9.5 out of 10. Once again, big love to Universal Nintendo and Necro Felipe. Okay, we got some other reviews to go over. Mary Station, Dual Shockers, Press Start Australia, all 9.5 out of 10. And RPG Fan also gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I'll read what they have to say, one of my favorite sites out there. It helps that I've played a lot of other Souls-likes since the first playthrough, and like the proper Souls-born titles, some of them do things better than Elden Ring. Maybe they have more varied encounters, maybe the camera doesn't fight you at every turn, maybe jumping isn't so painful, but even with all this game's flaws, and I stick by them, Elden Ring gives you the wildest canvas to play with and understands mood and scope, and it's singular and important because of it. All right, next up, we've got Gaming Boulevard, 9.5 out of 10. Hobby Consolas, 9.4 out of 10. Nintenduo, 9.3 out of 10. Maryland, 9.3. Video Chums as well, a 9.3. And a slew of 9 out of 10 scores. Let's go over those. Game Reactor UK, Indigo Geek, Terra Gamer, Nintendo Insider, Nintendo Life, Cube 3, Vooks, GameSpew, Jux Video, Level Up, Nintendo News PL, Voxel, Gaming Bolt, all 9 out of 10. I'll read what Voxel has to say with their 9 out of 10. The Elden Ring Tarnished Edition delivers impressive results on Switch 2, maintaining visual quality and performance worthy of its stature. A game of this scope demonstrates, let's face it, that Nintendo's current console is capable of handling technically demanding ports, provided they are optimized and receive the proper treatment. So yes, once again, this game was supposed to come out in 2025. It had a disastrous showing at different shows. They delayed it about a year, maybe it seems. About a year. They polished it up and they did the right thing. And I think that it was actually really smart, and it naturally got a boost because of the hype from the Duskbloods. People were playing the Duskbloods that had more participants in it than Elden Ring Night Rain on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. So there is a huge interest in the Duskbloods. So I think that people played that and said, okay, From Software, that style, let me play some Elden Ring until the Duskbloods comes out. So it actually was a blessing in disguise. Not only because the game is way better now at this point, but even if the game was better last year, I think it's actually going to sell better and do better now with more people that have a Nintendo Switch 2, and the fact that the Duskbloods is right there, kind of coming out, or more like people were playing it right around the time that you can pre-order with Elden Ring Tarnished Edition coming out on Switch 2. So I think it ended up working out really well. Okay, we got a bunch of 8 out of 10 scores. Let's go over those. Gamers RD, 8.5 out of 10. Multiplayer IT, 8.5 out of 10. And Digital Chumps, also an 8.5 out of 10. The Games Machine, 8.2 out of 10. Cultural Geek, 8 out of 10. Outer Haven, 8 out of 10. The 6 Axis, also 8 out of 10, in addition to Saudi Gamer. And that's pretty much all of the scores, and that's the lowest so far. Once again, we could get some adjustments in the future as more reviews kind of pile in, and I'm hoping that it can maintain that 90+ average. Could go down, but for right now, looking pretty good. I'll read one of the 80s reviews. This is from the 6 Axis, and they said, Switch 2 owners are about to discover the world of Elden Ring. If they've never experienced it elsewhere, then the magic that stretches through every fiber of the game remains intact, and in handheld especially. Offers a thoroughly enjoyable version of the game if you've played elsewhere. However, the performance downgrades may be too much to take. So it's interesting that people are saying that, and I think that they're automatically assuming playing elsewhere as in playing on PS5, Xbox Series, or the PC platform. Now, if you're playing on PS4 base, or if you're playing on Xbox One base, those are kind of rough from what I've seen. I did go back and look based on the Digital Foundry comparisons. Maybe they've been updated since then, but those are kind of rough. So I think it might be better than those on the base systems. Now, when you talk about like Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, not really sure compared to those and all that, but I think that there might be some places, or maybe even the original Steam Deck, you can tinker with it, but not sure if that's the best experience on there either. But yeah, it's one of those things to where most people are probably playing on like PS5 or PC or Xbox Series X, so I can understand that statement too, because it's not going to be performance-wise as good as the most current consoles that a lot of people have played the game on. So Elden Ring, reviewing really well so far, but it goes just beyond that. I kind of alluded to this, saying that it's done some things that we haven't seen any other AAA third-party game do on the Nintendo Switch 2 so far, and we're a year in. Now, there's been some games that are very, very close. Very close when it comes down to it. The previous crown when it comes to third-party AAA games is Resident Evil Requiem. But even beyond that, Elden Ring passed that up with its 91. So right now it's taking the crown as the best reviewed AAA third-party game on the platform. We hadn't seen any other platform review above a 90 on there. We've only seen indie games do it. So Hades 2, a 95 on Metacritic. That is incredible when it comes to that, and that game is really good. Also, Hollow Knight Silksong has a 91, but those are independent titles. And there's other games that have gotten close when it comes to that 90+ that Elden Ring has in Resident Evil. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You also have Pragmata. Those are both an 89 on Metacritic. Street Fighter 6, that's an 87 when we're talking about big AAA titles. So there's been stuff that's close, but nothing's been able to get past that 90 score. Resident Evil Requiem just got there. It was actually underneath that. It was in the 80s when it launched, and well after that. I think some reviews came in afterwards and it pushed it up to 90. But Elden Ring is the first one to break past that, and it's in a very rare exclusive club right now when it comes to AAA third-party games. But I think one of the biggest differences when it comes to Elden Ring, which does set it apart from Resident Evil, is that this is the first port of an older game that came out years ago. So we've gotten a number of AAA ports. I talked about Street Fighter 6, also Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There's a number of different games out there, even Devil May Cry 5, but none of them have been able to cross that 90 plus mark. Resident Evil Requiem was a day and date release, so a little bit different comparing it to a game that's been out for a couple of years or that's been out for a while. And Elden Ring Tarnished Edition was able to push past all of that, because naturally, if you wait a bit, it's just going to be rated lower most of the time. So it's really good to see that. I think it's really cool to see that. It's cool to see that there's a game that's gotten past that, and I hope that it stays there. I know I've said that before, but I hope that it stays there. Now, is Elden Ring Tarnished Edition worth that $80? Because that's something that a lot of the reviews kind of touched upon, but pretty much every review that I read or that I watched, they all said the same thing. Yes, the price is steep, but right now, Elden Ring, when it comes to the base game plus the DLC, if you buy it digitally, it's like $100 if you buy it separate for the most part. Now, I think that you can get a Tarnished Edition, or you can get like a bundle collection that does make it a bit cheaper or around the same price, the $80, but it's not like they're handing out discounts of the game digitally or all over the place. Now, you can find it physical cheaper on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. You can find cheaper physical copies and then buy the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. I think that's around $40 for the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and you can make it to where it's like maybe $70 or maybe it's 60 something dollars if you can find like a $20 or $30 copy physical of Elden Ring base and then buy that. But for the most part, you're going to be spending upward of $60 to $80 to get the game. So it's priced right around what you would see, especially digitally, with the other versions of the game. Everyone says that there's enough content to actually justify that price. That's the thing. If there wasn't, they would have slammed this game way lower. They would have said, oh man, the content is not there, there's problems with it when it comes down to it. It would have been rated lower if the price tag was really inhibiting with what you get. Now, once again, not saying that you need to go out there and spend the 80 on it, because that is a lot, but if you're looking for your value or money's worth because of the Shadow of the Erdtree, I mean, Elden Ring is already a huge, massive game that offers hundreds of hours of gameplay content, but then you add in that Shadow of the Erdtree and you get even more gameplay content on top of that. So a lot of the reviews are saying that it is worth that price tag, but I would say if it's a bit too much for you, you can wait. Those key cards usually go on sale. You can find those key cards, and that's why it's important to have physical media. Digitally on the eShop, it will probably still be 80 for a hot minute. I wish that Bandai Namco said, hey, look, you can buy it separate. You can buy the base package of the game, and then if you want the DLC, you can do that. That would have been better, because that option is offered on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. But I will say, just value-wise, you get a lot of content for it. So if you're someone that's looking to get into the world of Elden Ring anywhere that you want, then the Nintendo Switch 2 version is for you. I think it works well for that. But I mean, if you've already played the game on the PS5 and you don't really feel like replaying things over, because that game is a handful, then you don't necessarily have to buy it right away. And like I would say, you should just wait for a discount or a sale. If you wait for a bit, these key cards do go on sale. You'll be able to find it for cheaper later. This is once again why I say it's important to have physical, even if it's in the form of a key card. Those retailers can still discount it compared to what you see on the eShop, when you might not get the discount when you want it. So that's why it's good to have both. All digital is not good for the consumer. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's just not. You want to have the option of stuff from retailers and from digitally. You don't want just one place to buy the games when it comes to the consoles. So just one of those things, guys, but it's good to at least have it in keycard form. Now, we'll see if Bandai Namco limits how many they ship out there, because that's one way to counteract that, but we're just going to have to see how it all plays out. But either way, good reviews, good game. Glad that it actually turned out well, because it was looking like a disaster last year. but they took the time and it ended up working out for the best when it comes to consumers and for Bandai Namco from software. So what do you think about everything that we talked about here with the reviews and the discussion surrounding Elden Ring Tarnished Edition on the Nintendo Switch 2? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.